Brilliant Bresnan hits debut 100 as Warwickshire take control. Warwickshire enjoyed a fruitful first day in the Bob Willis Trophy, restricting their visitors to just 142. But the Edgbaston wicket had given them some assistance, and they would have to be wary when their innings got underway. They'd start the second day of play just 12 runs behind the visitors, who still had 6 wickets in hand. Northants looked destined to be playing catch-up. The only question was, by just how much? It looked like that deficit would be smaller than first thought, when a Sanderson peach nipped between bat and pad and removed Burgess off stump. But in Tim Bresnan, Warwickshire had a debutant with test match experience, and he'd bat intelligently, striking up a partnership with Yates as the pair recognised the threat posed by the surface. Runs were hard to come by, and the duo would have to ride their luck at times. But neither looked like giving their wicket away, and took Warwickshire's score ever closer to 200. The score at lunch was 194 for 5, the home side's advantage now just over 50 runs. Bresnan returned from the interval rejuvenated, where once he'd been watchful, he began to free his arms, targeting Keogh as Warwickshire looked to stamp their authority on the game. The attacking impetus would be short-lived, however. Northants began to rein in the run rate and were able to build pressure on the 6th-wicket pair. But Bresnan was in determined form and reached a personal milestone, his first 50 for Warwickshire coming on debut and just reward for his exertions. At the other end, Yates would have been starting to think about 3 figures, but he would have to settle for 88, caught at slip as he attempted to drive White back down the ground. Despite the setback, Warwickshire showed no let-up, Bresnan setting the tone for their innings as he continued to find the boundary. The new ball provided little assistance to the visitors, and when tea was called, Warwickshire had moved on to 266 for 6. It would be more of the same after the interval, as Thompson and Bresnan resumed their productive partnership. The 300-run mark was quickly ticked off, the bonus point added, and Northants' shoulders had begun to slump a little further. But the barrel-chested figure of Bresnan stood tall, his impressive innings rewarded with a century on debut. 4 runs away from his maiden first-class 50, Thompson was traipsing back to the dressing room, bowled as Buck got one to nip back from outside off stump. And as the old adage goes, 1 brings 2, and in the next over, Bresnan was removed by Keogh, playing around an off-break to depart, bowled for 105. With just a handful of overs left remaining in the innings, Ollie Stone and Oliver Hannon-Dalby were in no mood to just stick around. Stone filled his boots, firing 36 off just 30 deliveries, extending his side's lead to 227 runs after their 120 overs had come to an end. Ben Curran and Emilio Gay were the men tasked by Northants with navigating the final few overs and trying to chip away at their host's intimidating total. They'd had 19 runs before play was brought to a close, Warwickshire's lead of 206 still some distance away. The home side's total was remarkable, considering how difficult it had looked to score on this wicket early on in the match. They owe a lot to veteran Tim Bresnan, whose century on debut has underpinned their innings. The Bears will look to set up a third-day victory with quick wickets tomorrow morning, and on the evidence thus far, it looks an increasingly likely outcome.